delicious burgers, serving us delicious drinks. So, quick note of the ceremony. George is going to speak for a little bit. We're going to read the names of the fallen heroes that we ran for today, and then we're going to do a flag presentation to a Gold Star family. And to kick that all off, if we can all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is right there in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. George, the floor is yours. Sorry, I gotta get to the light.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, on page or on your page?
Oh, it's just there's a live feed for the
website.
I'm recording it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna
but
do.
I don't have any service, so I'm just recording it, and we're gonna post it later.
Okay, so I'm gonna do it from the Facebook page.
Okay.
And we'll be sure.
From the Run for the Fallen Facebook page.
Yep.
I want to try to speak from the middle. You guys want to sit down? You came over here so that you can hear me speak.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk from the middle.
Oh, okay.
So you guys can sit down.
Go find a seat, another one.
Okay.
Now.
Go find a seat. I've only done this about 100 times in the last 103 times. There's a few I missed. So I don't want to have to yell too loud. So thank you for all for being here. Thank you, for welcoming us, because this is amazing to come to the end of the day after a long day of emotional and physical training, and to come to a place and be welcomed, and to feel comfortable and to be fed and to just rest for a little bit and replenish. And so thank you for doing that. I'm going to compete with the guys at the other end of the bar.
You win.
I'm going to win?
You win.
Thank you. So, what's going on? I mean, probably some of you know, maybe some of you don't know. Who we are, why we're here, what we're doing. Really appreciate, Maggie had mentioned Seth and the hospitality of the Post. I want to particularly mention the South Carolina Patriot Guard Riders who were with us all day long. Mile after mile, marker after marker. Thank you for that. It's probably been one of the most PGR represented states so far. And I think one or two other states came out, but I'll tell you, none of them participated like you guys did today. And I think that one of the things that we wanted to do is to make sure you were engaged. And I hope that by doing that, you felt that you were a part of honoring with us, rather than just an observer, which is often, I know, what you guys are doing.
Our honor to be there.
So thank you for that. So 10 years ago, this is the 10th anniversary of an organization that was founded on Memorial Day of 2008, the Honor and Remember organization. And we were established to bring public remembrance to the nation. And that really was our only purpose, because what we found out back in 05, 06, when we were losing a lot of men and women, there wasn't a lot of public recognition. There wasn't a lot of understanding from our community, the majority of our communities, that men and women were losing their lives because most people aren't military connected. They're not veterans, their families haven't served, and so they just enjoy the freedoms that everyone else has provided for them, but they don't get it. And so there are plenty of organizations out there talking, within themselves and helping and healing and comforting. So what we wanted to do was something was a little different. We wanted to reach the unchurched. We wanted to reach those that were out there that didn't have that connection, and maybe bring a message of celebration in a way that would be positive enough that we would get attention. So we created what we thought would be that message, and that was the establishment of a national symbol, the Honor and Remember flag. The Honor and Remember flag was established, like the POWMIA flag, to become a nationally recognized symbol that did one thing, said thank you to all of those thousands upon thousands of families who have lost loved ones and have no way for us to reach them with a message of appreciation, not on a global scale. And so over the last 10 years, the Honor and Remember flag has now been officially adopted by legislation in 24 states. South Carolina is one of them. It is the legislative official state symbol of remembrance in South Carolina.
Wow.
And if you look on their state things like birds and flowers, you'll see that it is prominently displayed. So we're really proud of that. Coming through, not all the states that we have come through have adopted the flag. So that's very important to us. So being an organization that is established to bring remembrance to the nation, really, one of the things we thought was the best way of doing that was to gather the actual individual names and to call those names out loud. Because it's been said that an individual can die two deaths, right? A physical death, and then the last time that someone actually calls out your name is the next death that you really die. So we want to make sure that every one of our fallen service members are not forgotten. And as we are trying to bring a message to the entire nation, we thought that if we could compile the names of every fallen service member, and when I say every, I mean exhaustive, every fallen service member who gave their lives while serving or as a result of serving over the last 18 years. We started with the USS Cole, October 12, 2000, that bombing that happened in Yemen. And then we compiled, working with a number of organizations, including the Department of Defense, every name that everybody had, and then cross-checked them and categorized them, and then put them onto a website and blasted out through a search engine where everybody could come to this website and look for their hero. And if their hero wasn't there, they could add their hero. So we've been compiling and adding for the last 2.5 years. And that gave us the opportunity to put a list together that rivaled about 20,000 service members. This is where we get that number 20,000. We're still adding, by the way. As a matter of fact, there was a service, I think, for South Carolina, a service member who gave their life just last week. And so we are still adding. As we're running, we're still adding. And so we took those names, those 20,000 names, and we categorized them by their unique dates of death. So when we looked at all of those names and we put them in the order of their date of death, we realized that they came out to about 6,000 unique days. So 6,000 people, 6,000 dates of death accounted for 20,000 Jews. And then we took those 6,000 names, or dates of death, and we put them on a trail across America, starting with the USS Cole, and then every mile or every marker after that was the next date of death. So this is how we thought it would be best to honor every one of these men and women, to put them in a place that was organized so that we could keep it together ourselves, because we had no way of knowing what hometown everyone came from, where their families lived, where they might have served. There was no logical way to take that many names and put them in any kind of a logical sequence, except chronological date of death. And we are currently, after having run for 103 days and 4,900 miles, right? We're at 48.99? 46.99. 4,700 miles, which, remember, I said were dates of death. So it's 4,700 dates of death from the USS Cole. And we are now in the year 2015. So we have run for every single fallen service member that we could locate from 2000 to 2015. And that brings us here to Beaufort, South Carolina in the year 2015. And we will continue to run to our final destination, Arlington National Cemetery, till August 5th, where we hope on August 5th we will be able to name the very last service member who died up to that moment. Wow. So this is really what we're calling the most comprehensive fallen veteran tribute ever conceived in this country and ever executed in this country. And this is historic. I mean, you guys who are here at a moment that's not going to happen again. It took us 2.5 years to get to this moment right here. And so I always say that those who are meant to be, are where they're supposed to be. And so I'm grateful for those who are here, few that it may be, those who have no clue what we're doing and are missing the historic moment and actually participating in something that I hope that you will remember the rest of your lives. So this has been our mission, to make sure that no service member is forgotten. Why? Not for them, because they're gone, but for the families that they've left behind. Because those families are with us every single day, and they're grieving for the rest of their lives the loss of their loved one. And we want to make sure that as a nation, we speak that message to them, that we, at least as an organization, and those that are supporting, will never forget. And will continue in some broad way to make sure that they aren't forgotten. And I'm going to make a punctuation to that. Dan, if you want to come forward, please, with that. What we've done with the website, I said we had a searchable engine on the website. Not only could you go to the website and search your loved one's name, but when you searched your loved one's name, the web page will pull up where in the country, on what day, and at what time we're going to be honoring your loved one. And so the dynamics of that search engine, are pretty big to be able to do that. And so it gave us the ability to send that message to every family that if you would like to hear us honoring your loved one, then this is where you need to be on this particular day. This flag is a compilation of every family who has met us on the road from California to South Carolina. I don't know how many signatures are on here, but these are only the names of the heroes and the dates of their death. And those families have traveled thousands of miles, literally thousands of miles. We had a family come yesterday from California to be at their marker yesterday. And I know the Rodriguez family has come from San Antonio, Texas to be at their marker today. And many families have traveled thousands of miles and tens of hours if they drove. And many of them have. To be on the side of the road, and you guys know what that side of the road was like, to be on the side of the road for 30 seconds to hear their loved one. And this flag, this honor member flag, is black with the names of family members who thought it was important enough to take their time and their own expense and their own physical ability to come and be with us for that moment in time. So you have to believe that remembering these loved ones' names is the most important thing to them that you can imagine. And if it's this important to them, how important should it be to us? Because these men and women, these families, gave their loved ones so that the rest of the nation didn't have to. Right? So that their loved ones could stay at home with their careers and their families and whatever else. That's what freedom brings. But they selflessly put their lives on the line, and they didn't come home. And if it's that important to these families, then each one of us, at the very least, should have a way to say thank you. And thank you. And so that continues to be our mission. We have come to this point. I mentioned the number of miles that we've run already, the number of days that we've run. I'll tell you, we've called out loud up to this point almost 19,000 of those 20,000 names. So most of those deaths have occurred between 2000 and 2015. So the majority of them have been read. But we still have, we're at 4,700. We still have 6,100 to go. So a lot of miles to go. One of the things that we do every night that is the most important thing that we do is to remember those names that we ran for during the day. Because when we read them, mile after mile, it was very noisy. And you guys know it was very noisy, and very often we had to hesitate for a moment, and we had to wait for trucks to pass. But the road noise is horrible, especially when we're clogging up traffic, and then traffic is being let around us when we stop. So we like to reread the names in a quiet place. And we'll maybe get them to be quiet too when we read them. But we like to read them in a quiet place because we are broadcasting this for the families. We do broadcast it during the day, during the noise, but we broadcast it at night because we want to be in that quiet place and make sure that those names are being heard. And we want everybody who's here with us to be able to stand in place of the families who are not with us, right? Because you know that each one of those names is important. And it may not sound like a familiar name to you, but I will tell you, if it's your family's name, it's the most important name being read. So as we read those names, I want everybody...
One moment, I'm going to get you a microphone for this.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep talking until we do it. So as we read those names, I want everyone to be listening with a reverence and respect as if it's your very own family. And in some cases it will be. So how many know that we're broadcasting this live? Okay, good. A few of you do? Right, thank you. So we're broadcasting it live because we want this message to go global. We want this to be a viral message. We want everyone in the world to know that we are honoring our American heroes. And you can tune in at any moment, at any point during the day, and listen to us and watch us honor these fallen servicemen. So that's very important to be broadcasting. We don't even know if anybody's watching. We hope there's people watching. And every once in a while, the feed doesn't really tell you. It'll say there's one person watching or 10 people watching. But I'm hoping there's 10,000 people watching. And that everybody is sharing and resharing. And if you don't get to watch, it's saved. So every day on the YouTube channel gets recorded and then uploaded and saved. So you can go back and watch it as if... Is there a
Microphone. You got to come here.
Okay. I'll come over there when we read the names. And so you could go back and find someone. If you look them up on the website and you find that we honored this hero on day 12 or 50 or 100, you can go back and find that day and you can hear, hopefully, us having recorded that day out loud. I did that for a mother the other day. Her son had been honored in Iowa. We just happened to find it was day 57, and we found the marker, and she got to hear her son being honored in Iowa. She was just blown away because she didn't even know about the run until that night. So she had no idea, and then she saw how we honored her son. And it was a very emotional moment, as you can imagine. So Before we read the names, those of you who haven't seen the live feed may not know how we're honoring. Because we're not just saying we're honoring 20,000 heroes across 19 states for 6,000 miles. We are every day taking that date of death and we made it a marker. And when we have a full contingent of runners, which hasn't been often lately, we usually end up with one runner on the ground at a time. But when we have 4 runners, we run with 4 full-size flags. We run with the American flag, we run with the state flag of the state that we're running in, and we got to change the flag this morning to South Carolina, our 17th state, so we're real proud of that. We're running with a flag that you may not know about. It was a flag that we established like our military flag, but it's for fallen first responders. So it's a flag dedicated to fallen police officers and fallen firefighters and emergency. It's called the Honor and Sacrifice flag. And we carry that flag because we are escorted by the fire department and the police department. And we want to make sure that they know that we haven't forgotten the sacrifice of our public servants and their brothers and sisters. Even though we may not be calling their names out loud, we are still honoring their fallen. And then the 4th flag we carry is the Honor and Remember flag. And if you have a flagpole, you should be flying the Honor and Remember flag sometime during the course of the year. Because it represents every fallen service member in the history of our country, every branch of service, every cause of death, including those who died as a result of serving. It's a very, very important symbol in our country. So we carry that because we're running, not just for those in the war on terror, but for every fallen service member in America. They're also carrying the placard with the name, the date that I mentioned, every date, unique date of death, and the names of those who died on that day, plus a small set of flags. So what happens is we come to a pre-designated location, and with the help today of the PGR, that was very easy. So we came to a stop, everybody comes to attention, we ask if there are any Gold Star family members there. Often there are, not always. Today we had 4 families, I believe, that were at their marker. Once we've identified the families, whether they're there or not, the ceremony continues. We start to read the placard. This hero marker is dedicated to all those military service members who lost their lives on this particular day. Day, month, and year. And then we proceed to read the names of those that died on that day. It could be 1, or it has been as many as 57. That's been our largest one-day date of death. And you could probably guess that was 9/11. But we've had many days of multiple casualties in the 10s, 20s, and 30s. As each of those names are being read, a set of flags is touched to the ground or planted in the earth, reverently and respectfully. And when we're done with that, we come back to attention and then hand salute or hand over our hearts, depending on whether we're civilian or military, in reverence and honor to those names that we just read. And then we pick up the next placard with the names on them, the next set of flags, and off we go to the next marker. And our runners and our crew are doing this mile after mile, 10 hours a day, for now 103 days. And this is the mileage that we've covered. So I want to paint that picture to you that we're not just saying we're running for fallen heroes. We've actually identified them. And we are calling their names out loud so that America and the world knows who they are. So we're going to take the time to read those that we ran for today. What is our count today? 80 names, over 47 dates of death we ran for today. And there were 80 service members who lost their lives over those 47 days. And this was in the year 2015. So we're going to read them. I ask you that you all put your cell phones on silent, because I don't want any funky ringtones coming out while we're taking this moment. And I'm just as guilty. So I'm putting my phone on silent as well. And we're going to have some of our runners from today read these names.
How you fix that? There it is. You're the bomb, Shannon.
There you go.
The dates of death that we ran for today were March 30th through June 18th of 2015. Sergeant Sergio Fiardo Jr., United States Army. Captain Jonathan Frederick Wincope, United States Army. Sergeant Dakota J. Volkman, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Ralph Lamont Dudley, United States Army. Specialist Michael Wayne Nixon, United States Army. Corporal John Michael Dawson, United States Army. Master Chief Petty Officer Mark J. Snedeker, United States Navy. Private David H. Leap, United States Army. Sergeant Earl Parker Sharp, United States Army. Tech Sergeant Anthony E. Salazar, United States Air Force. Staff Sergeant Louis Enrique Benitez Jr., United States Army. Sergeant First Class James Michael Genus III, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Jeremiah Joseph Andrew Vare, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Stephen Charles Perry, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Jerry Wayne Laughlin Jr., United States Army. Sergeant Christopher Richard Higginbotham, United States Army. Sergeant Derek Roy Pagan, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Jonathan Christopher Casey, United States Army. Specialist Dwayne Allen Rittenhouse, United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Sean Warren, United States Army. Specialist Robelson Vissiere, United States Army. Lance Corporal Giovanni Anthony Brown, United States Marine Corps Reserves. Sergeant First Class Ryan Charles Farrone, United States Army.
Staff Sergeant Jakindra Monique Woody, United States Army. Petty Officer Justin Andrew Burge, United States Navy. Specialist Paulio Grassi, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Ronald Jean Guillaume, United States Army. Specialist Darice LaSalle Matt, United States Army. Captain John Joseph Captain John Joseph LaVue, Captain John Joseph LaVuis, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Todd Sterling Mayberry Sr., United States Army. Private Second Class Alan Altamirano, United States Army. Staff Sergeant David James Clark, United States Army. Lance Corporal Jacob Andrew Hugg, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Sarah A. Medina, United States Marine Corps. Captain Christopher Lee Norgren, United States Marine Corps Reserve. Captain Dustin Ryan Lewiskitsky, United States Air Force. Sergeant Ward M. Johnson IV, United States Marine Corps Reserve. Specialist Seth Meyer Miller Brown, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Bryce Edward Lee, United States Air Force. United States Army. Private First Class Hampton M. Alley, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Kevin Darnell Lewis, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Ronald Lambert Erie, United States Army. Petty Officer 3 Devin J. Doyle, United States Navy. Staff Sergeant Jonathan David Rourke, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Jeremy Stephen Roush, United States Army. Sergeant Andrew Joseph Rodriguez, United States Army. Staff Sergeant David Lee Hawkins, United States Army. Specialist Ryan Trent Rhodes, United States Army. Commander Kevin P. Childre, United States Navy. Petty Officer 2 Ryan Burris, United States Navy. First Sergeant Christy Lenore Tompkins, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Pablo A. Riuz, United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer 2 Toby Antonio Trujillo, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Thomas A. Rhodes, United States Army. Specialist Talia Jubran Smith, United States Army. Lance Corporal Chad E. Chisholm, United States Marine Corps Reserve. Sergeant Brandon Joshua Cummings, United States Army.
Private First Class Jonathan James Waldner, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Michael Robert Tucker, United States Army. Private Leanna Nicole Upchurch, United States Army. Specialist Michael Craig Shamos, United States Army. Sergeant Jerome Chadwick Lechlinsky, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Jacob Molly Gray, United States Marine Corps Reserve. Sergeant Brian Lane Bounds, United States Army. Sergeant James Matthew Brackett, United States Army. Specialist Juliana Colleen Mosley, United States Army. Specialist Samuel Mack McLaren, United States Army. Petty Officer Ashton Stone Kelly, United States Navy. Specialist Tyrese Everett Weaver, United States Army. Specialist Dakota Kane Morgan, United States Army. Sergeant Rashawn Roderick Gordon, United States Army. Private First Class Montarius T. Daniel, United States Army. Private First Class Tyler Wayne Day, United States Army. Private First Class Albert Adam Lopez, United States Army. Specialist Michael William Corey, United States Army. Specialist Derek Anthony Landers, United States Army. Sergeant J. D. Perkins, United States Army. Private First Class Juan Luis Castro, United States Army. Sergeant Lester J. Wilson, Jr., United States Army. Private Kyle Matthew Swain, United States Army.
I want you to help me out. 80 names, over 47 dates of death just in a year, just in a few months, actually, less than 2 months in 2015. Before I close this time here, and even those at the bar, I'd like for you to listen to me because I'm going to give you an opportunity. We have read the names, every one of those names is a fallen service member. And those are the names we ran for today. However, we really, as I mentioned, are running for them all. And at this time, after we've read our names, I want to give everyone an opportunity who's here with us in the room to say the name out loud of someone who they may be holding in their heart, someone that you would like to honor with us as we have read our names. Any generation, any loss, any cause of death, if you would like to honor an individual who we did not name, then I give you that moment now as we close this portion of our ceremony. You know, don't be shy. Many of you might have served with someone who lost their life from either serving or as a result of serving. Families may be here whose names didn't fall within that date range today. So if you would like to speak a name out loud, we're not going to take a lot of time to do this. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Anybody in this direction? Yes, sir. Nice and loud. Name and branch of service.
Sergeant Louis S. Daly, Vietnam. He was in Chicago, 1968.
Thank you. Anyone else? Let me get down here.
Mark Black, Vietnam. He died 2011.
Yes, go ahead.
Paul Dudzinski passed away June 2008.
Thank you. Anyone else? Over here? Okay, moving around the way. Go ahead.
Charlie Strickland, Iwo Jima,
Branch of service.
U.S. Marine Corps.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Larry Joseph Salisbury, hospital foreman, 3rd class, Vietnam, U.S. Navy.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Raymond Francis Richards, United States Army, 101st Airborne Division.
Anyone else? Anyone lost someone that they want to call out loud? It's a really difficult thing to say, take a name from inside here and speak it out loud. It's a powerful thing to do that. It keeps them alive. So one more chance before we... Anyone else? Yes, sir.
John Robert Stiller, U.S. Army, Vietnam.
Thank you. If we can just bow our heads for a moment of silence as we reflect on those names that we read today, those that were just spoken, those that are still in our hearts, and for the several thousand that we have left to run for to Arlington Cemetery. Amen. Many of you may not know, but someone who has lost a loved one in military service to our country is called a Gold Star family. It goes actually back to World War I, when a gold star was hung on the windows and doors of families who had lost their loved one out in the fight. It has a very broad definition now, and some families don't know if they're Gold Star families or not. It's been kind of watered down in many ways. But as an organization, our definition is anyone who has lost a loved one while serving in any capacity, any cause of death, or as a result of serving. That is our broad definition. We don't necessarily go by what the government might say. So I would like to honor and recognize those families that are here with us who have lost loved ones. Could you please stand so that we might recognize you and honor you? God bless you. Thank you. Can each of you please at some time tonight identify with a family and hear their story and learn something about their loved one? Because I'll tell you, they'll be proud to tell you. One of the things that we are so privileged to do most of the evenings, not always, but tonight we are, is to recognize a particular family. Our mission as an organization, I mentioned the Honor Remember flag, is kind of a global statement of appreciation. But it's not enough for us, because we want to make sure that every family knows that we have not forgotten their loved one individually by name. And so as we're able, and by request of families, we prepare a special flag for families that have made that request. And we're able to honor a family tonight with you all as we conclude this portion of our evening. And I would like the Rodriguez family to come forward. All the Rodriguez family.
Come on.
they're coming up, I want to show you what I have in my hand. I'm holding a tri-folded honor and remember flag that was hand sewn and prepared for this family. It's folded in a triangle because you think, okay, well, you fold the American flag in a triangle. Well, that's the protocol for the American flag. The American flag that was actually taken off their casket, their son's casket, and folded into a triangle and given to them to place in a shadow box, reverently and respectfully as a gift from a grateful nation, is the mirror of this flag right here, this folded American flag. But this flag only mirrors that American flag one time, because once it's unfolded, it's meant to recognize the life that he led and be a celebration of that life, never to be folded like this again. Because I will tell you, when a family sees a folded flag, it's not a happy thought. Even though it's the protocol of our nation to fold it into a triangle, every time a Gold Star family sees a folded American flag, it represents death, even if it's the normal way to do it. And so this is unfolded as a celebration of life. And we're going to unfold this flag and present it to this family. This honor and remember flag is presented with eternal gratitude and respect in memory of Staff Sergeant Andrew J. Rodriguez. With this flag, we honor this patriot's unwavering dedication and remember his selfless sacrifice. By displaying this symbol collectively as a nation, we humbly recognize the enormity of your loss and respectfully say, thank you. We have had the privilege of presenting over 3,000 flags in the last 10 years. Thank you. I think that was a surprise today. I didn't think that was going to happen. Thank you, guys. We have over 1,500 families on a waiting list to get these flags. We present one on the average of one every single day, but we get 2 requests every day, and we just can't get ahead. And some of these families have been waiting for 2 or 3 years to get a flag, which is a travesty, in this country. And so I only mention that because some families do have to wait a long time. It's the thing that breaks my heart the most, because I know the resources are out there. Anyway, that concludes our time. I really appreciate it. Maggie and Jordan and Seth, thank you for pulling this together. The AMVETS have been one of the most supportive organizations for Honor and Remember in the nation. So we're very, very proud of that and thankful. So thank you for that. One more thing before I turn it over or turn it off, and I guess you're gonna bless the food, and someone will. Is in the back over there, people ask us about shirts and hats and patches and pins, and we have a bunch of stuff in the back there. See Dan. Anything helps us get to the next city, and of course, we've been accumulating a little debt as we went along. But everything helps us move forward to complete this mission. So, we do? I've just been informed that we have another flag for another family. You guys don't mind waiting, do you? No?
It's deserving.
I would like the Booker family to come forward.
Yes.
Okay. Honor and Remember flag is presented with eternal gratitude and respect in memory of Staff Sergeant Andre Booker. With this flag, we honor this patriot's unwavering dedication and remember his selfless sacrifice. By displaying this symbol collectively as a nation, we humbly recognize the enormity of your loss and respectfully say thank you. Thank you, guys. That was awesome. Is there any other family here that was expecting a flag?
There is one, I think.
You guys
Lee?
expecting a flag?
Not today?
Not today.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out.
That's it.
I just want to thank everybody. I don't need this. I just want to thank everybody for coming out.
He's like me.
It's an honor to have all of you here. It's an honor to be a member of the AMVETS even. I never served, but my grandfather and father were both Marines. And we're going to put together a little pot for you to take with you. I know the Sons of AMVETS are donating $100. Shannon's personally donating $50. So we're going to put together a little pot together, a little bucket. Maybe everybody can throw a couple dollars in it and send you all with a little bit of money for what you're doing. So if somebody say a prayer, God bless this food, God bless these people.
Okay. I just wondered if they had a chaplain. You guys have a chaplain?
God bless this food, God bless these people.
Amen.
They
want me.
Well then, have at it, Buck. I got you.
First of all, again, welcome everybody here, and it was an honor for me and the rest of Patriot Guard riders to participate in this today. So, that being said, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for keeping us safe all along the route, and we pray for your safety again for the next 3 days. Lord, we just remember and honor all of the men and women who gave their lives in sacrifice for the freedoms that we enjoy today. And Lord, we ask you to bless the food we're about to receive, and bless the hands that prepared it, and may it nourish our bodies for your greater honor and glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, if everybody could find a seat, we're about to start shuffling plates out. And if anybody's willing to donate for the runners, here's the picture.